Hey guys, welcome to another video. Though my top 10 list of the year for 2022 isn't quite ready yet, I figured I'd take this video to kind of talk to you about some of 10 of my most anticipated movies of 2023. These are 10 films that I'm looking forward to the most. These are 10 films that appeal to me in some way, whether it's the subject matter or the property that they're adapting into a film. These are just 10 films that happen to be coming out in 2023, at least at the time of this video. Let me get my list up here so I can actually talk about it. Um, and these are just 10 films that I think could be really unique, that hopefully are going to be really good, or they have a good director attached, or one of these projects actually has somebody I watch on YouTube kind of doing his directorial debut into a feature-length movie. But let's talk about 10 films that I'm really looking forward to the most. As we work the way up the list, obviously number one is my most anticipated film of the year. All 10 of these movies I'm really looking forward to, and this is actually kind of a tough list to make, just because there are a lot of films that are supposedly coming out with at some point in 2023 that I am looking forward to. So even if it didn't make the list, these are just 10 films that kind of stood out to me the most, that I feel could have a lot of potential throughout 2023. So at number 10, we're going to start with The Equalizer 3. And what I'm really intrigued by with this movie is this is kind of in a way becoming Antoine Fuqua's first film franchise. My throat's kind of not holding up too well today, but and I really like the first Equalizer movie. I really like the second one as well. So I am glad that they are trying to make a trilogy out of this. I am glad that Denzel Washington is finally doing sequels. I think Equalizer 2 was actually one of his first sequels he's ever acted in. So I'm glad that he's returning to this role for a third time, playing Robert McCall again. I know Antoine Fuqua expressed doing a more international flavored Equalizer movie. I think he originally wanted to do that with the second film. There was hints of that. I think there was parts where Robert McCall was out of the country for like maybe one or two scenes within Equalizer 2, but it sounds like the third film, I think they want to go full on international, put Robert McCall outside of the U.S., let him do something outside of the U.S. rather than just staying in the U.S. and helping people there and stuff. But I'm just really excited that they are making a third one of these. I'm excited that Antoine Fuqua kind of wants to make this his franchise. Wants to give Denzel Washington his own franchise, because Denzel Washington's kind of a one and done kind of actor with some of these movies. So I'm glad he's kind of returning to this role for a third time. I think this has a ton of potential. I hope it's great. Can't wait for Equalizer 3. I think it comes out in September of 2023 at this moment right now. Next on the list, we have Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I've been pledging for years, and Bumblebee is kind of proof of this. As soon as Transformers puts Michael Bay behind them, doesn't use him anymore, gets other directors to kind of do these films, I think the Transformers franchise can finally get back on the right direction. And they are getting Stephen Caple Jr. from Creed 2 to direct this movie. So Rise of the Beast, it's also going to be kind of an adaptation of Beast Wars as well. So it's going to be both Transformers and Beast Wars in a live action setting. There's risks. Stephen Caple Jr., he's done one really good movie that I really liked. But like I said, it's not Michael Bay. It's someone else's shoes taking over creatively. I think this has a ton of potential. I really hope the whole Beast Wars and Transformers going into live action, meeting up with each other for the first time in the Transformers film franchise. I hope it's interesting. I don't think there's a lot of returning characters from previous movies, though. I think Bumblebee and, Optimus Prime and some other familiar faces are obviously going to be in this. I think it is after the events of Bumblebee, but still before Transformers 2007. So it's kind of right in that middle area there. So I think there's a lot of things they could do could be really fun and really cool. So Transformers Rise of the Beast makes it in at number 9 for me. At number 8, we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Steven Spielberg didn't come back to do this movie. It's going to be James Mangold this time, who did Logan and Copland. I really like James Mangold a lot. The first trailer for this movie, I gotta admit, it's not the most impressive thing I ever saw, but there is parts of the trailer like, okay, Harrison is getting a little old now to be doing this, but I love Indiana Jones. I'm actually one of the few people that thought Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull really wasn't as bad as people said it was. Not an amazing movie, not a fantastic film, but good enough for what they were trying to do. I am worried that some of the, Harrison Ford being a little too old to do this kind of thing might work its way into this movie some more based on what I saw in the trailer. But it is James Mangold. It is a fresh face for the franchise. I love what James Mangold has worked on in the past. I think he could really make a good Indiana Jones film if they hand him a good script. I think they're doing some type of a sundial artifact that they're looking for this time. I also hope they go more of a Professor Jones route with this, who kind of like how they treated Sean Connery in Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, where they know that he's older, they know they probably can't do the same physicality that maybe Harrison Ford had in the first Raiders of the Lost Ark and things like that. But it is an Indiana Jones film. James Mangold's directing it right there. I'm excited for that concept alone. So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is number 8 on my list. Number 7 on my list, I have some explaining to do. I think it could potentially be really cool. I've actually seen this brought up on other people's most anticipated films of 2023 lists, so I can't be the only one who's thinking this. But at number 7, bear with me, I have the Barbie movie. And the reason why I have the Barbie movie on this is Greta Gerwig is directing it. Her husband, Noah Baumbach, who's also a director, is writing this movie with her. And the Barbie movie's kind of gone through some interesting phases over the years. I think at one point in time, Anne Hathaway was going to be in it, and it was just going to be, straight up, Barbie expressing her opinion about real world stuff. I'm glad that project got canceled. It sounded awful. I don't even think Anne Hathaway herself wanted to do it. But they've, kind of revitalized this project. It's kind of just sat on a shelf for years until Greta Gerwig wanted to take a crack at it. I think Diablo Cody wrote the previous version. I'm not 100% sure on that one. The girl who worked on the Juno and A Young Adult and some other Jason Reitman movies. But Greta Gerwig, I think, is going to do something really fresh and interesting with this. She's done Lady Bird. She also got some Academy Award recognition with her Little Women remake. From what I know about this movie, it sounds like it's Barbie kind of being kicked out of her world, going into the real world, hoping to find a better life. Ken kind of following her there since, he views her as the love of her life. So I think there could be a healthy blend of comedy of everything we know about Barbie and Ken here in the real world with the toy line. Even if you don't know a lot about the toy line like I do, I know almost little to nothing about Barbies. But I think just the idea of Greta Gerwig putting Barbie in the real world, Ken kind of coming after her to kind of win her back, kind of expressing how perfection is a very impossible thing to master for your life and stuff. And, be your own person. Don't be what this Barbie world is telling you how to live and stuff. There's just a ton of things I've heard about this movie that could be really, really interesting for a film if they get it right. It's also a film I gotta admit, out of all the films I have on here, it is the film I'm worried could fall on its face the worst if it goes wrong. So I will say that right off the bat. But as far as what I know about this movie, as far as what I know Greta Gerwig wants to do with it, I'm excited for it. So the Barbie movie makes it at number 7 on my list. Number 6 on my list, I kind of also have some more explaining to do because some of you might not know what this is. Number 6 on my list, I have Shelby Oaks. And what this is I'm a huge fan of Chris Stuckman. I've been watching his YouTube channel for years. I always go to his movie reviews and stuff. Kind of the reason why I almost wanted to do a YouTube channel myself and stuff like that. But yeah, this is going to be his directorial debut for a feature film. He's been pushing to do this for years. I know he's expressed for years that he's wanted to do a feature-length film specifically in the horror genre. I think I heard somewhere that Keith David's going to have a role in this, and he's a huge Keith David fan, so it's really cool that he managed to get him for this movie. Everything I've heard about this, all the behind-the-scenes stuff he's been willing to show on YouTube for Shelby Oaks, I'm really excited for. I think I loosely know a little bit about the YouTube videos that inspired him to want to make this movie, too. So I have that intrigue with it as well. So number 6 on my list is Shelby Oaks. I really hope Chris Stuckman knocks it out of the park with his directorial debut for a feature movie. Number 5 on the list, I have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This, strange enough, is going to be a two-parter for the next 2 Mission Impossible movies rather than them just doing 2 different Mission Impossible movies. I know Christopher McQuarrie is going to do this one and whatever they do for the follow-up for, I'm assuming, what's going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2. But the reason why I have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is number 5 on my list is Christopher McQuarrie has been knocking it out of the park with his Mission Impossible movies. I think it is still a little unusual that they want to do a 2-parter for this new one, so hopefully they have something really cool in mind. Hopefully neither one of them's 3 hours. I'm not a big fan of that when a movie's just long for the sake of being long, but From all the stunts they've shown online of what they're going to do with this, from what I know about the plot, from what I know about the cast that they've recruited, both old and new, for familiar faces and new faces joining the franchise. I think Haley Atwell from the Captain America movies has a role in this too, or something. But um, I'm excited to see what they do. Obviously, that bike stunt that we see in the trailer, probably one of the cooler things I've ever seen, with Tom Cruise basically risking his life to perform this stunt for the movie. And apparently there's other stunts they have for this one and the next movie that are going to be in a similar fashion as that. So I just a franchise I've been really happy with. I'm really happy with how Christopher McQuarrie has directed all of his Mission Impossible movies. I do hope he keeps them fresh. I know when you stay on a franchise for this long, it doesn't. It's very difficult to keep your material fresh when you stay on a franchise for this long. I think this is going to be like his third or fourth Mission Impossible movie or something like that. So I'm really excited for it. It makes it at number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list, I don't know a lot about, but I've seen some images for this movie, and I think I've seen some like paparazzi footage of this movie somewhere online. But I've been a huge fan of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for a good chunk of my life now, so I'm excited for number 4 for Wonka. This is going to be a Willy Wonka origin story with Timothy Chalamet from the Dune movies playing Willy Wonka himself. There's whispers that it might have musical elements in it, which is perfectly fine. It is Willy Wonka after all, and the original movie had some musical numbers in it anyway. It's a film that I think can have a lot of potential. I'm really excited for it. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to work in the stuff that Roald Dahl brought up in his book about him finding the Oompa Loompas and him forming a chocolate factory, and just things about the Willy Wonka character that we don't know a lot about right now based on just what the books and what the movies from previously have told us about him. So I'm curious to see what kind of new things we're going to learn about Willy Wonka in this. I think Timothée Chalamet could be a really good Willy Wonka, even though topping the Gene Wilder performance is going to be really, really difficult for him, because that's just such a great performance from Gene Wilder. But it makes it at number 4 on my list. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Wonka. Number 3 on the list, I'm actually shocked I put it as high as I did, but kind of thinking about it based on all the trailers I've seen for it so far, and the promotional material and the posters. I know D23 kind of went heavy with this movie because it is coming out in May of 2023 at this moment, and that is the Little Mermaid remake. Rob Marshall, who directed Chicago, is going to be working on this. He also did the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I have complete faith in this. I think he can do something interesting here. The trailers have been nothing but super impressive to me. This Haley Bailey that they got to play Ariel in this has an impressive singing voice, almost as good as Jodie Benson herself as far as the Ariel musical numbers and songs go. Hopefully that'll stay consistent throughout the whole movie. I like the whole real world look that they're giving it, like what would happen if you really went into the ocean and met some of these characters and stuff. Rob Marshall's made a lot of great films before. Like I said, I've been nothing but ecstatic about it with all the trailers they've shown for this. Little Mermaid, the remake, makes it at number 3 on my list. Now we're to the really good stuff. So at number 2, we have Oppenheimer. This is Christopher Nolan's next movie. It's going to be about the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer and his creation of the atomic bomb during World War II. Everything about this movie, I'm just, in my DNA, I'm excited for. It's a Christopher Nolan movie, so right there, I'm going to be there day one. Cillian Murphy's in it, a guy who's worked with Christopher Nolan numerous times at this point is going to be in it. I'm going to be there day one just based off that alone. And also, I think Christopher Nolan could tell J. Robert Oppenheimer's life in an interesting way. So it's just a film that I'm super excited for. Every promotional image, every promotional trailer that has been shown for this movie so far, I've been really happy with. It makes it at number 2 on my list. But at number 1 on my list, we have a film that's coming out in 2023 that I've been hoping for a good chunk of my life. We've had one attempt at this franchise years ago back in 1993 that didn't work out very well, unfortunately, though I find it as a guilty pleasure when I'm in a good mood. But we do have the Super Mario Brothers movie from Illumination Entertainment coming out, and that makes it at number 1 on my list. I've been a lifelong Super Mario fan. If they could get Mario right, if they could make a franchise out of this, there's been rumors of a Donkey Kong spinoff and a Luigi's Mansion spinoff potentially happening at one point. I'm excited. I think a lot of the cast members they've chosen could be really good. I'm liking Chris Pratt's voice more and more the more I'm hearing it. I know a lot of people are kind of against that right now. But they have Charlie Day in there. They have Jack Black in there. They have Anya Taylor-Joy who's voicing Peach. They have Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. They just tons of people that are really talented that could really give this material justice. I'm really excited for it. If they could get Mario right, I think I can die a happy man. I've been, ever since I was 4 years old and became passionate about film and video games, I said if they could somehow find a way to turn this great video game into a great movie, I could die happy. Um, it failed in 1993, but I really hope Illumination Entertainment does not go down the same path. I hope animation is the right way to bring Mario to life into a film. It absolutely is number one on my list. I cannot wait to see this. It also comes out on the weekend of my birthday, so gives me more and more excited to see it. So those are 10 of my most anticipated films of the list. These are 10 of my, if I can talk today, most anticipated films of 2023, you guys. Let me know down below what some of yours are. These are just 10 films. There's tons of other ones that are obviously coming out in 2023 that I'm looking forward to, but these are 10 films that I specifically am looking forward to myself. So let me know down below what some of yours are, and hopefully these 10 films specifically are going to be great throughout 2023.